Hello, this is Angelique, and you're listening to We're Booked Up, a segment of the Gaston Speaks podcast wherein Kendall, Andrew, and I discuss books. For this episode, we're discussing You Should See Me in a Crown, a young adult novel by Leah Johnson. There will be spoilers, so come back after you've read it if you want to avoid those. But first, what have we been reading or watching?
I am still in the middle of Assistant to the Villain.
Mm-hmm.
I like it, which is surprising because it is both romance and fantasy.
Oh wow, yeah, not your usual combo.
Do you know what it feels like? It feels like almost like Ella Enchanted for adults.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I didn't particularly like the Ella Enchanted movie, but I did like the Ella Enchanted book. So I'm in the middle of that. I like that, and I just finished the season. Okay, this is for adults, not for children. On Peacock, it has Stephanie Hsu in it. It's called Laid. It is so wonderful. I highly recommend it to both of you.
Is it raunchy?
Yes.
So Stephanie Hsu was in a movie called Joyride that no one saw. I was literally the only one in the theater when it.
That's funny.
And it's kind of like that Asian American version of like Bridesmaids or Girls Trip, and it was raunchy, and she was hilarious. She's good.
First of all, she's amazing because I didn't realize that she's. I think we already talked about this. And Miss Maisel.
Yeah.
She's May.
She's May. Yeah.
She's a brilliant actress. Honestly, at this point, I'm like, I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis, I love you. I think you're great, but I think Stephanie Hsu should have won that Oscar.
Oh yeah, in terms of performance, she should have won that
It was-
Oscar. Yeah.
I'm so happy that Jamie Lee has one. But
And
yeah.
she'll win one eventually. She's on that trajectory.
She's amazing. And the friend in it is Sosha from Girls.
Oh yeah.
It has a girl. I don't know even know. It's
Gemma something.
No.
Sosha.
Sosha.
Zazie Mamet or
Is that how you say it?
I can't remember.
Zosia.
Yeah. I know you're talking about. Yes.
I'm sorry,
Sosha.
Angelique.
Sorry.
You were thinking Shoshana.
I was thinking
the
Shoshana.
character.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No. So yeah, it's. I would say it's gonna be like girls content, but it's Peacock comedy. Like I don't know how to explain. Like it's NBC kind of funny, but if you're allowed to say bad words and make allusions to adult situations.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
I like that.
thumbs up, recommend, funny.
I watched like the trailer for it. It did look funny.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
I recommended it to her earlier.
I need to just download Peacock because they moved the nanny from Max to Peacock. So now I'm like, well, I gotta pay for Peacock because
I think you can watch a lot of stuff for free on there. It's just gonna have ads.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'd rather pay because
Okay.
I've gotten used to the no ads.
I don't know if we pay or if we have ads now. I think there are ads.
Mm.
I think I watched it with ads, so that's good.
Yeah, I watch a lot of YouTube on my Roku, so there's always ads. So I'm just
Yeah.
used to it.
Gotcha.
What? You watch a lot of YouTube?
I know, it's surprising. It's not like me, but I just don't feel like watching it on a small laptop screen.
So you watch your car crash videos and like,
they'll be like flying across the freeway, and then suddenly it cuts to an ad.
do your cats like freak out when it's like stuff like tires coming at you and stuff?
No, they're
they
probably
don't
just
respond.
used
They're
to
just
it.
used to it. Okay.
I think that's dogs.
The only time
They're
the only time they've ever reacted to something on the TV was when I put like a video of like it's for cats of like birds walking around on the ground, and Scooter got up onto the TV stand and he's like batting at the TV and he almost knocked it over. So I don't do that anymore
For the safety of your
for the
TV.
safety of my TV.
Well, it's funny. I mentioned the nanny. Anytime Fran Drescher is on the screen, Finley's ears perk up because like the high like squeaky noise. She's like, oh, I can understand this. She works out.
She's speaking to me.
She is.
All
What
right.
about you, Angelique? Besides car crash videos, what have you?
I told this to Kendall. I watch a lot of reaction videos of like people watching things that I like and getting like their opinion on it. And I like those. Those are fun.
Fun.
I do watch a lot of people reacting to like
On like Instagram and
like on Wicked, like the moments
Oh,
where
yeah.
you get excited for them.
my
Yeah.
favorite Wicked ones are the ones where they put Defying Gravity to other things.
Mm-hmm.
So like the Toy Story scene at the end where Woody like flies into the car and Buzz Lightyear's flying, they do it to Defying Gravity. And then there was one where like like a tornado comes and a porta potty like gets sucked up in the air, and the second it goes, it's the big note in Defying Gravity. It's funny, yeah, and it just starts flying, and anyway. Those are my new favorite Wicked adjacent ones.
So I do understand your reactions thing. I also like watching people react to music. There's a couple.
that's
There's
fun.
like I don't know if they're siblings. I feel like they're siblings, but they react to watching like Taylor Swift for the first time, and they're like, "Oh, okay," or I don't know, whatever.
There's a vocal coach that somehow ends up in my like algorithm.
Is it the ya 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 lady?
No. But she like will watch like amateurs who have posted videos singing and like that are really good, and she'll kind of explain. She's like, "Ooh, that's good. She does the this and the anyway."
Does she
it's
have
fascinating.
curly hair that's
yeah,
red? She plays Elphaba as a backup for Wicked.
really.
Yes, fun story.
That's cool.
Okay, we'll stop.
Sorry.
Did you watch anything?
I have been on I'm a member of Film Independent, and so I've been watching a lot of really interesting indie films that are nominated for the Spirit Awards this year. So I watched one on Netflix called His Three Daughters. It's Carrie Coon, Natasha Lyonne, the best performance she's ever given. She's amazing.
Really?
And Elizabeth Olsen. It's kind of claustrophobic because it's literally these three daughters have met because their father's dying, and they're all like in this apartment in New York.
But that might hit too close to home.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
Minus my dying dad, but
the dynamics of the sisters and all that. But it's really well acted. And then I watched one called Sugarcane. It's on National Geographic, so it's on Disney Plus. It's a documentary. It's one of those you want to watch once because you need to see it and it's important, and then you don't ever want to watch it again. It's about so in the United States and in Canada, they had these Catholic schools that they forced a lot of indigenous folks to go to basically Americanize them. And this is one particularly, I think it's in British Columbia somewhere on a reservation. And some of the people who went to the boarding school are now in their 60s, 70s, 80s, and they're alive, but they're telling these horror stories. And it's absolutely horrifying, but I think it's going to get nominated for the Doc Oscar and could win. But it's definitely worth watching because you need to know what's going on, to the point that actually later in the film, one of the guys that you kind of follow goes to the Vatican in Italy, and because the Pope had formally apologized for the abuses of the church towards the indigenous people of North America. So that was, anyway, it's an interesting doc.
Is that related to the news story that came out, I don't know, like 10 years ago about they found behind one of those Catholic schools like a grave site?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really awful.
Oh no, it's and then as you go through it and more stuff's revealed,
That's awful.
it's really, really bad, but it's important. And then the other one I watched is called Saturday Night, and it is so much fun. It's on Peacock probably. It is, huh? It's about Saturday Night Live. Yeah. It is actually about the 90 minutes leading up to the first Saturday Night Live episode. So you have people playing Dan Aykroyd and Gilda Radner, and you have J.K. Simmons as a random one-off as Milton Berle because he was at NBC at the time. It is wacky. It is zany. They don't pause for like reflection of what's going on, but it is a heck of a good time. So I would recommend that one. We have it now on DVD here at the library. So. Mm-hmm. And then I read this, and then I finally got my hold for the T.J. Klune, the House in the Cerulean Sea sequel. So I'm gonna start that this weekend.
Cool. I'm glad you can tell me if it's worth reading or not.
Yeah, I really am hoping, because I know how much we loved it, and the reviews have been pretty good. But then I also saw some reviews that were like, "This is pure fan service." I'm actually okay with that.
I'm okay. Fan service is fine
when you love
by
something
me.
like. We've had these discussions about Gilmore Girls lately. Like, Year in the Life is totally fan service.
Mm-hmm.
But because I'm a fan, I enjoyed it. So I feel like I'm still going to like this one. I hope so.
Cool. Are we ready to begin?
Let's do it.
All right, I will read the synopsis, and then we'll rate it. Liz Leidy has always believed she's too black, too poor, too awkward to shine in her small, rich, prom-obsessed Midwestern town. But it's okay. Liz has a plan that will get her out of Campbell, Indiana forever. Attend the uber-elite Pennington College, play in their world-famous orchestra, and become a doctor. But when the financial aid she was counting on unexpectedly falls through, Liz's plans come crashing down, until she's reminded of her school scholarship for prom king and queen. There's nothing Liz wants to do less than endure a gauntlet of social media trolls, catty competitors, and humiliating public events. But despite her devastating fear of the spotlight, she's willing to do whatever it takes to get to Pennington. The only thing that makes it halfway bearable is the new girl in school, Mac. She's smart, funny, and just as much of an outsider as Liz. But Mac is also in the running for queen. Will falling for the competition keep Liz from her dreams, or make them come true?
It was accurate.
Yeah.
Pretty straightforward.
Yep, that's what it was about.
Yeah.
All right, you ready to rate it?
You go first.
Okay, you guys know I loved it. It's YA. There's romance, but it's not too romancy. Yeah. So also I'm going through the lens of this is how I would judge it against other YA books. So I would say it's 4.5, 4.75 star book. If it were against other adult books, it would be lower. But yeah, this was a good solid book for me.
Okay. Andrew?
No, so I've read other YA. I don't read a lot of YA, but I've read other YA books that are kind of cutesy coming, and I felt like those were a lot better. just and you probably have read a lot more, so you have a lot more expertise in that genre than I do.
I don't care. I was expecting you to give this like a 2, maybe a 1.5.
I was gonna say 2.5.
Yeah.
We'll get into it. There was actually a lot I liked about it. There was a lot, but there were some things that I felt like didn't quite work as well. So, but no, I will say this was clearly written for a 16, 17-year-old girl, and
Or
I am not a
younger.
16 or younger. And for them, it's there's some really good messages. So it's not my favorite book, but it's not a bad book by any means.
Yeah, I'm just gonna give it like a solid 3 because, like Andrew, I don't read a lot of YA. Not really a fan of YA. But
Well, there's some things in YA that can be frustrating, I feel like, for an adult to read, because I feel like an unspoken rule in YA is that you have to make things as heightened as they feel when you're a teenager. So
Yeah.
it's going to embellish and make situations a little bit crazy. And there's going to be some outlandish stuff running through because it's teenagers acting like adults always, because teenagers in real life act like adults.
They think they're adults. Yeah.
And so I get that there's an ick on that for adults. It's cringy. It's annoying to have to look back and be like, ugh. So I don't have problems with you guys
Again, though,
not
I've
vibing with it.
it's not a
but I
bad
like
book,
it.
and I think the audience that it's directed to, I think will get a lot out of it
yeah,
It was
and
so
enjoy
cute.
it. So that's what's really important. It was not written for me, and that's okay. I don't need that, but I think that I will get to it. I think there's some really good points that it makes that every teenager needs to hear. So
yeah, agreed. basically.
Same.
Same. Ready for the questions?
yeah, let's do it.
What did you think of the main character, Liz Leidy? Did you have a favorite character?
I liked Liz. She
Mhm.
reminded me a lot of my sister, Lovey Jen, because, she's a
Mhm.
clarinet player, kind of reserved, not wanting to draw tons of attention, but incredibly smart. So funny, very capable. Like, I liked Liz a lot. She felt real to me.
Mhm.
Maybe because I knew someone like her. I have to think about who my favorite character is. Hang on.
You want me to go? While
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
thinking?
yeah.
Okay. I liked Liz. I agree. There was a realness to her. Some of the little side characters, like I loved her grandparents
Oh, yes.
and her brother.
Yes.
I love that dynamic, especially Granny at the end. Just broke my heart. And I don't know. I think it's just for me. I miss my grandma. So every time there's this really lovely. Remember, like Nana Joy.
Mhm.
It was like every time there's this lovely grandmother character, I just like, oh, I kind of swoon. And then some of the I liked was it Jordan, the
Mhm.
friend.
Mhm.
He, I understood the high school dynamics and then I really like what's her name, Quinn.
I liked
Oh,
Quinn.
yeah.
Quinn, that was one of that's one of the messages I think that we'll get to I'll get to at some point that I
Brit.
think's really Brit's cool.
I
Yeah,
liked Brit.
her friends were her friends were kind of cool.
Stone was a throwaway character
Yeah.
for me, though, but I liked Brit.
Yeah. So some of those one-off characters I kind of liked. She did really well at creating her characters.
Mhm.
I think, except for Rachel, which was just a one-note villain, which is okay.
Agree.
But
Yeah.
there was a lot of cool messaging maybe you could have done a little bit different. Also, I love how you call it spoilers. You could see me in my crown. I'm like, spoiler. I knew what was going to happen, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I knew what's going to happen. But I feel like she did better with her characters than she did with her tone and plot. Her characters were really well done, and I liked a lot of them. So, but Granny's my favorite.
I feel like I'll have more to say about characters later. I just can't remember it as we were getting warmed up.
Okay.
What about you?
Yep, you go.
I liked Liz. I think she was very, most of the time, pretty like down to earth and rational, reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
There were a few moments where I'm like, why are you doing that? But that's just,
Teenager.
yeah.
I think I had a hard time at first with her anxiety and her social anxiety. Like one of the first scenes, she's kind of caught up in somebody's promposal and she's like having a meltdown. I'm like, well, this is extra. Like, what's going on here? But then after seeing her reactions and understanding why she has that intense anxiety that prevents her from doing anything, like, then it made more sense. But that first one was like,
Yeah. Favorite character. I did like the grandparents, especially the grandpa who's just always sleeping in the background.
And then makes like little one-off
Yeah.
funny comments. Yeah, he was cute.
I know, I was telling Angelique one of my favorite moments with him was when they were doing the prom pictures and he couldn't get a good picture on his flip phone, and so he went and got his disposable camera.
Yes.
And it rings so like it made me think of my prom and my mom with her disposable camera, which she did not. She cut off my head in every single picture. It's from my nose down.
I just think of Bob. Don't advance. Don't advance.
Yeah. Oh my! I don't advance. Holy cow!
Remember, he would. You
Yeah.
couldn't advance the disposable camera.
All right. What did you think of the depiction of high school? Did any of the characters stand out to you as particularly true to life in high school?
Well, I think we all had very different high school experiences, so
Probably.
I'm really curious to see how this brought up anything, if at all.
This is where some of the tonal stuff. So I think they wanted this whole prom thing to be very campy. That would seem like to me like the tone they were trying to go. Like it is ridiculous and outlandish, and we know it. But then the tone would shift so dramatically sometimes within chapters that it's
Mhm.
like the camp got lost in it. Obviously, it was supposed to be like an overload ridiculous of I don't know many high schools that go that hard for
For
prom who have
anything.
$10,000 scholarships. And I think that was a motive to try to make it funnier, to have kind of this background to maybe ground Liz as a character. But it didn't always
Yeah,
work.
It didn't mesh well with the rest of the.
I don't know. Sometimes it would again. Then it would be like, and then her brother's in the hospital. Like it was. Sometimes those tone shifts didn't quite work for
So
me.
That specific one actually did work for me because you're up on this high and you're not expecting it, and so it like just that it was on purpose, the tonal shift.
I know. I just didn't. I don't know.
It wasn't for you, and
No.
that's fine.
It's a good plot. Again, that's one of those messages of that I think is important to know. And I like Robbie, and it didn't not work in terms of the scene or the emotion and all that. But it felt like that happened a lot, the tonal shifts, and it just didn't always work for me. Because then it kind of took away from what they were what I felt like she was trying to do with the prom and the outlandishness and the crazy. I don't know. It just sometimes it took me out of it. I don't know how to. I'm not describing it well. I know, but
No, you are. I'm just thinking.
For
about
me,
it.
it was just like a little too absurd sometimes. That it just didn't fit well with the rest of the book. I mean, I can see like
Which
over
part?
the top,
Do you
like
mean
the prom
part?
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Cool.
it was like a little too absurd and a little over the top for some things, and I just didn't fit well with the rest of the book. I'm trying to think of a specific thing that stood out to me as a little bit too much. I think maybe it's like the celebrity photographer at the prom
Mm-hmm.
was a little okay. why
Guy
would they come
Fieri did
Yeah,
that random
I
one off.
know.
I'm like,
That was stupid. Or I was telling Angelique that their prom had gift bags, and in
Yeah.
the gift bags were AirPods.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm like, this is okay.
Gift
So maybe
cards.
there's a rich high school out there that operates like this, but not one around here.
Is it
No.
because it didn't say that Campbell High School was like a private school, did it? 'Cause
I
if
don't
it's just, like, a
remember. I
public school-
assumed public.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
mean, it made it seem like it was
Because
public.
how else would have Liz's family afforded for her and Robbie to go there?
Yeah.
Right.
So is my assumption that it was now. So I do have the experience of going to school with really rich and really not rich kids at the same time,
Mhm.
and that did make sense. I don't know. We just didn't have the school zeal, I guess, that this
Yeah.
school did. Like so, like the idea. One, we didn't have a winning football team.
we did. That one South Point had a winning football team.
We did,
But we did not care about prom. I don't even think we did prom kings and queens.
We didn't do prom kings and
No.
queens. We had homecoming
Yeah.
queens.
Yeah, we did that.
And again, it was like, I don't know. I don't remember there being super popular groups.
Mm.
Like there were groups of friends, but not really like, it wasn't like, oh, it's the football players and the cheerleaders. It's the pom bots or whatever. Like, I don't remember having that.
Yeah, I didn't get
experience.
that. There's like a cheerleading squad and a pom squad.
I did get that in that a little bit with we had dancers and cheerleaders. I
mhm,
can't remember
yeah.
what the dancers were called, but they had a specific name. So that one did make sense because there was color guard, the dance team, we had a step team, we
Yeah.
had
Okay, yeah. I'm starting to remember now. It's
Cheerleaders.
I know it's like dusting stuff off cheerleaders.
Yeah. So yeah, that made
sports.
sense.
Yeah.
Like, we had an Olympian. Like, the kid earned a gold medal,
That's cool.
and no one went to his stuff
Oh God, sorry. That's funny.
because it was swimming, and who
Right,
cares about
right,
swimming?
right.
So I can kind of see it for like Campbell because apparently it's like a really small town and maybe school's like the only real social outlet that they have
Mhm.
as opposed to Charlotte with all the
Yeah,
But they also made it seem like it was not far to go into like Indianapolis.
yeah.
Like
that's
it was
true.
kind of like a Gastonia to Charlotte, where it didn't make it seem like it was a big deal that
their
they
prom
would drive
was in
in.
Indianapolis.
Yeah,
She made it. She did say that the Texas football, like that is what the equivalent would be, and
Mm.
we do know that Texas football, like football in Texas, is a big deal.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can kind of buy it there, but it's just so crazy to me that they have where like that PTO can earn enough money for their prom king and prom queen to each get a $10,000 scholarship. That's what kind of blew my mind, and that's where I'm like, you just gotta have to suspend reality here to allow that this is what's gonna happen. Because I don't know, it makes me wonder if there's another function she could have done this with, where the main character loses a scholarship and then has to put herself out there in social situations. Because that's the point.
right.
Like, I mean, maybe there's another device that could have been used, but it was just kind of wild to think.
Yeah.
And then when you talk about what was a character that rang true, the reason I think I like Quinn is because I know a Quinn. I know plenty of Quins
Yeah.
who
You
were the
do?
pom bots or the cheerleaders, but they were actually really cool people.
Yeah.
And people associated them with the alpha, head cheerleader or whatever. But they were like, no, I'm just me, and I can be friends with a lot of people. I knew people like that who were seen as unapproachable or seen as untouchable, but then you got to know them, and they were just nice, normal people.
See, you were a popular kid. As a not
Yeah.
as a not popular kid, no. I mean, like, I would interact with them in class and stuff like that, but I don't interact with them now.
But that's one of the lessons I liked from it was,
And they're still unapproachable.
but like, don't judge people. The whole like, don't judge a book by its cover, or give people a
Yeah.
chance, or give people a second chance, because you'd be surprised
Yeah.
the connections you can make. And just because you're not necessarily always in the same groups or the same social status doesn't mean you can't find a really cool connection. So I feel like that's what that Quinn character was kind of proving.
I actually was a little bit surprised that Liz ended up winning. I thought Quinn was going to win
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
because Quinn was the one who would stand up to Rachel publicly,
Right.
who was supportive of everyone. Now that I think about it, I did know a Quinn who was approachable and did not win Homecoming Queen, but should have. We'll talk about it later. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. What I was
I
gonna
kind of
say.
actually was hoping that she wouldn't. And then because the teacher mentioned that she had a second
Another
chance.
scholarship.
And I was hoping there'd be like an epilogue where she didn't win the scholarship, but she still had a wonderful time and made friends, and
Mhm.
and the whole school united against the enemy, and she really ended on a high note. And then we go to the epilogue where she does get the scholarship because her music, in the end, it was her music talent that shone through.
Yeah.
Something about that felt like that would have been almost.
See, if this were an adult book, I agree with you, and I
Mhm.
would have much preferred that, because then it was less about her showing up into somebody else's sphere and thriving in it, which was great that she did, but also something about being able to come back to herself and be even more of herself, because she can be herself in other spheres as well.
Right.
Like, I do really like that if it were an adult book, but since it's a teen book, you got to give a little bit of hope. Like,
No,
I think,
I know.
I think the teens would be crushed.
And it's very, that last whole like chapter where she wins, and the way it's very
Yeah.
like uplifting.
yes.
But then there's the point of the messaging of, like you said, of, but you can still be yourself. Maybe even if it isn't as hopeful, but it is still hopeful though. It is. I
feel
still
like
found
it's-
myself, and
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I still found myself, but then in the end of the day, it was my talent. It was what made me me.
Mhm.
That got me where I was, not because I played the game. Like, I don't know. I was just hoping for just a little bit of a twist, because when you read the title, I was like, okay, so she's going to win Homecoming Queen.
Well, it also says you should see me. It doesn't say you will see me.
But we saw her, so I don't know what to. Anyway, but you're right. You also want to give it. You got to give it credit, because you're talking to a much younger audience who
Yeah.
may not be able to process all of that.
Like, there's some nuance.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, YA, yes, it's read a lot by adults. But, like, whereas this is probably written for a 16 or 17, it's going to be a 12 or 13-year-old who's reading this book.
True, very true.
Yeah.
What was the question?
The depiction of high school, was it good?
Oh, how was it for you? When you showed up, was this what high school was like for you?
When you showed up.
When I
That was
showed
a
up.
dig.
You know, it's a funny callback to previous conversations we had. Was it a dig for you? I'm sorry. It was
No,
not
it's
meant to be.
fine. I honestly don't have a lot of memory of high school. I was a loner. I wasn't into like all the social stuff that was going on. I would hear stuff occasionally, like the usual stuff that gets bandied about a high school hallway.
Mhm.
But for the most part, I was just doing my own thing.
Yeah. So Andrew was popular. You were Judd, what's his name? Judd Nelson in Breakfast Club,
Mhm.
like Bender.
Mhm.
And I don't know. I was a theater kid who did not get cast in any of the main roles. Like I was a background theater kid. Like that's who we were in high school. So like at least
Does that
Liz
mean I'm
was
Emilio
first chair.
Estevez?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I
Cool.
guess that makes.
That means Martin
Bender.
Sheen's my dad, which is really where we're going with this because Martin Sheen's awesome.
You can have a president as a father.
That's
I
what
will
I'm
give it to
saying.
you.
That's
I
all.
will give it to
Thank you.
I
Thank
guess
you.
that makes me Ali Sheedy,
No,
but I don't feel like Ali Sheedy. I feel like
Who's the guy?
you're like
the,
an Ally
the
Sheedy.
nerd.
oh,
Anthony
Michael.
Michael.
I'm not that smart though. I was in the smart classes, but I was the dumb kid in the smart classes. Like
You're like a combination of that with just a dash of Molly Ringwald.
I do have Molly Ringwald energy that
You
no one
do.
recognized. I never got the opportunity. I failed all my auditions.
I apologize to all the viewers. We're processing some trauma here from high
No,
school.
we're not.
I'm
We're
kidding.
fine.
I'm kidding.
But yeah, I'm Ali Sheedy with a dash of Molly.
Dash
I'm
of
Ali Sheedy at the end.
And yes.
Oh,
By the way, I hate The Breakfast Club.
you do.
I hate that movie. I'm not an 80s movie fan, remember? So
I
John Hughes movies
know.
don't work for me very well. But
Hey,
Sad.
hey, hey, hey. That's okay. I'll take it for all of us.
I-
Do you like it?
I do.
I will say
I
that
like 80s movies.
for my teen, it was the trifecta of Clueless, Mean Girls, and Easy A. Those were like the teen
Yeah.
movies of like my teenage years.
When did Easy A come out? Because that to me feels like a.
I was like 20.
I was like, I feel like I was in my mid-20s, which makes sense. So this has no high school feeling at all for me.
No, I'm just
Clueless
saying that
does.
was like the trifecta of
Yeah.
like the teen
Well,
movies.
now I'm
of-
trying to think of teen movies. Clueless was definitely one
Oh,
of them.
we were
Clueless.
watching. So like, yes, Clueless, but that was slightly before high school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it came out in '95, so we were
Yeah.
all pretty young.
But we were watching like Scary Movie was coming out when I was in high school. So
Oh.
Oh yeah, all the parodies.
yeah.
See, I was already a
That's
film
so
buff,
bad.
so like I would go
Lord of the Rings. That was
Oh
one.
Oh, Lord of the
my
Rings,
God.
yes.
Yeah.
So when everyone else was going to see like Transformers, I was going to see like No Country for Old Men. So that was.
Oh, I love you, you nerd. Ugh.
See, I had a nerdy side.
Okay, we ready for the next question?
Please.
Do you have a favorite moment or quote, or a least favorite moment or quote or aspect of the book that was just not for you?
I have quotes and I have thoughts, and they're in my notes. I can't tell if I should dig it
I
up
liked
now.
some of the little funny moments. There was a line I liked. It was like, "I never put a question mark where God put a period." I
It's
love that line.
exactly right here.
And then there's one where it's like, I can't remember the punchline, but something like, "We should do more something," but it was an innuendo
Mm-hmm.
of like, we should kiss more or something. It's like, we should go to more something. Anyway, it was a funny line. There were little funny moments. I loved like the food fight, like just some of those kind of funny campy moments. Again, I thought that they were trying to play up the camp
I
and
didn't like the food fight. I
Really?
was like, that was so like we would all be suspended.
Yeah.
yeah, but the way it was written was kind of zany and kind of funny.
I did like it
It
gave them
didn't
an
fit in.
opportunity to like hide behind like
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
a tray or a table or whatever it was.
Yeah.
That was one where it was ridiculous, but it knew it was ridiculous, so it played into it a lot. And the
Mhm.
recognition. I also liked Madam Whatever.
See,
She was
both,
funny.
both of you liked her. And I was just.
I'm on the fence about her. I hate the fact that she. Okay, so I feel like
I
she
just
is
think
a
she
good
was campy and crazy.
She's
yeah.
a good representation of the duality in this book because her name is Simon and she decides to go by Madame Simone.
Simone.
Thank you, French. Well, you would be French, eh? Anyway,
Aw.
oh, no, you wouldn't. You wouldn't be Frenchy at all. Uh,
Beauty
Where-
scoop chop. Go.
go back to high school. What are we talking about, Madame Simone? Because she is all about like the camp and like really embracing like all of the activities and school pep and cheer. And then on the other side, she's the one who stood up to the principal in that chapter and dropped her French accent and got real and was like, you cannot punish Liz for this. It is definitely
Right.
breaking the law,
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
100% will receive consequences because I will be making sure that happens. So like that to me was the duality of the book. There's like this undercurrent, like most of society gets to live in this world where there's prom and it's excessive and campy, but the reality for someone who is different
Yeah.
is like Jordan Jennings, perfect Jordan Jennings, who's gorgeous, always drives exactly the speed limit.
Yeah.
We got to think about why that would be. It's not just because he's a cool cucumber. It's because he can't break the law.
Right.
Like, there's this undercurrent of, like, the dual. It's like there's the underbelly of what reality is like, and then there's also the camp. And having to exist and code switch between the two
Yeah.
worlds, I did like it. So that's why I'm okay with the like. It probably could have been done if it was jarring for you. Then maybe there needed to be
Just
more
transitions.
Yes. As like maybe if it were written for adults, it would be more
Again,
seamless.
I don't think
Be like a
teenagers
darker
need it.
comedy.
Yeah,
Yes! Like
yeah.
Election.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
That is a good movie.
But yeah, I think you're right. It's jarring for me, but it wouldn't probably be as jarring for a teenager where those emotions can be
Mm-hmm.
a lot. I don't know. Yeah, it's just not my book. You know, I
Yeah.
get it. But I was watching an episode of Gilmore Girls where Alex Borstein plays the dresser for Emily and Richard, and she's like crazy, and she calls everyone Natalie Wood. It's season 3.
That's not Alex Borstein.
Yeah, it
She
is.
plays the harpist.
Yeah, but if you look at the makeup,
That's no.
I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna look this
No.
up. Anyway,
You
but
can
that
look that up,
character
but I know who
reminded
you're
me of
talking
Madame
about.
Simone. Celine. It was just it reminded me of Madame Simone. So that's and
Oh,
it was funny.
I hijacked your comment. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
You're right. That would be a good casting.
I'm gonna look this up. Y'all continue.
All right. What was your question, and let's answer it for you.
I was going by a favorite moment or quote.
Alex Borstein in a lot of makeup. Boom.
I am shooketh.
Sorry, Angelique. I know we're not supposed to go off on our random pop culture tangents, but anyway, I was reading that book and I'm watching that episode, and she was kind of outlandish, and she had like the wrap on her head, and she was kind of kooky, and I was like, oh, that to me when we were casting, I was like, well, we should have Alex Borstein play Celine, basically be Madam.
I 100% agree.
Anyway,
Like, I like that moment in the principal's office, but I feel like she had other chances to have, like, at least, like,
a spine or more.
yeah,
Mhm.
foreshadowing for that moment. Like, the
I
first
agree.
time Rachel made that affirmative action comment, she just shut her down right there.
Yeah.
Yep. I feel like she could have done it in a French accent,
Yeah.
or then like when the food fight happened, her to be like, "Okay, guys, let's stop this now." Like, switching. Like there should have been drops in the
Yeah.
mask.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I should.
That
just-
is kind of like all of a sudden something happens and everyone suddenly has morals.
Yeah. Also, that scene where Gabby just kind of walks in, that kind of,
Yeah, that is part of that. Like,
yeah, teenage.
Got to
wish
suspend
fulfillment,
that will, because oh my god, that would never happen. First of all, our security guards would have body checked Gabby. Like,
Yeah.
I get that I went to school with rich kids, but I also went to school where we had, like,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
we that would not have been allowed.
No.
Yeah.
We are in a post-Columbine world here, guys.
Well, we
Yeah.
also would not have been allowed to like hate the stuff that they like hang up in the commons and paint stuff like.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, and somehow because he's the star football player, he has a key, so it's
Yeah,
not
that was-
trespassing.
That is
Weird.
ridiculous.
Like, no, none of that would have
Actually
happened.
saying the F word, like,
Yeah.
would have been against school policy. Like,
Yeah, conveniently, there was no policy on language. What do you mean there's no policy? I'm like, come on.
it should have just been F, your
Yeah.
fairy tale, which I thought was cute. And it had a very Dawson's Creek anti-prom vibe, which I appreciate, because then it was like, oh, all the people who don't get cast in all of their theater stuff, despite the fact that they try really hard,
Trauma processing.
suddenly have a voice. Like, it was nice.
But then it's anti-prom, but then she totally falls right into prom.
I
And gets
know.
right
It
into
is-
it,
it
and
is
she's queen, and they're all
true.
dancing. Everything's happy-go-lucky,
I
so
know.
it's just interesting.
I'm wondering if I should just read my notes. Do you want to go first with your
What's your next?
moments, or do you have any?
Do I have a moment? I was just actually, there was an aspect of the book that I did not really, that didn't make, there was just too over the top for me.
I'm here
The
for
Campbell Confidential app.
Oh,
Concur,
yes.
a
Oh, my
1000%.
God.
Senior made. It's like, first of all, who runs these servers? Like, is the senior still in school, or was it a senior from the past? In which
Who-
case, why would he still run the servers for an app that has to continuously update? and
It's the
support
virtual
video?
version of a townie.
Yeah.
Someone who can't move on with their life. is
Comes
still
to every
obsessed
football
with-
game.
It's all right. but
I feel like it could have just been like a Twitter page or X
It should have
or
just
Tumblr
yeah.
or Reddit or some
Yeah.
already
Snapchat.
existing social media thing.
Maybe she would be sued.
And somehow the girl can figure out the algorithm of who's
Yeah.
come on, like
No. So like trying to make Stone the smart one who could interpret the thing, like and create this app, but then also is woo woo. I did not like Stone. She was such a garbage character for me. Like put you in the trash, girl.
Also, Rachel, like you said, was a really one-note villain.
I was okay with Rachel until she threw hands at prom. I was
Yeah.
like, that was where it was over the top because I can believe that there's somebody who's going to be super popular, super pretty, and feels threatened by another individual and then attacks the individual for what makes them different. That 100% tracks.
Yeah.
Throwing hands at prom, girl, no.
yeah.
And then Principal Wilson shows up and escorts her
No.
out.
Then all of a sudden, again, suddenly I have morals.
Yeah.
Like, like, where were these morals when,
I
you know,
know.
when she was doing all this
Rachel
other
should have
stuff?
been expelled the first time
Right.
for recording somebody without telling them and then posting it all over the school.
At
Well,
least
apparently that happened all the time. There were these little freshman armies that went around and recorded people.
Yeah, it could
Yeah.
be good or bad.
That
Which
should have been shut down.
I
Yeah.
can't. That might be true to high school life now because we did not grow up with social media in
No.
high school. Thank
No.
God.
Yeah. no. Well, we
Oh
had
my
MySpace.
In high school,
I had
it.
MySpace in high school.
I had
Yeah.
it in college.
I don't remember.
Tom and I were friends, and that's all that mattered.
I might have had
happened
LiveJournal,
to
but that
Tom?
Oh.
wasn't like a social
I just
thing.
saw a TikTok with him actually.
Really? Okay. Okay. Yeah, MySpace was big, and then when I got to college, and that's when we all joined Facebook because at that time I think you had to have an EDU.
You did.
Still, or someone could invite you. So if you had a friend in college, then they started being able to invite people.
Oh, see, that was even after I had started because I started with it was the EDU. This was before the news feed. You'd actually have to go to the person's like page and like to be able to comment on
Yeah.
their stuff or their pictures. I really liked it as a college.
Yeah,
I
it was
really-
cool.
I was upset when it expanded out to everyone and everything.
And then your grandparents are commenting on your
I
like,
know.
stop.
I'm like,
please
okay,
stop.
well, we're gonna take that. Like, I don't need employers to see me being stupid
Right.
in college.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't remember what we had. We might have had. I know what. I think I had like some like online journals where I had.
Oh,
people I
live
talked-
journal.
Yeah, live journal. I know I had a live journal and I had a bunch of them actually. But I wasn't like communicating with my classmates or anything. I was communicating with
I
like
am.
people in like the fandoms that I was
Yeah.
interested in, and that was it.
That makes you cooler
You know-
because I was all about AIM and leaving away
Oh,
cryptic
AIM.
away messages.
Yes. I hope they get this when they see it.
Music quote.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yes. Really, really like cheesy early 2000s music quote.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I do like the MySpace top 12 though. We should bring that back. I want people to know.
Top 12, top 8. It's 12 now?
Well, now it's nothing, but at the time it was 12.
Okay.
They expanded it. I want to rank people. I want them to know.
To know who's most
I mean, you can
important.
just do that on Facebook anyway. Just make a post and put them in order however you want.
But this was like dramatic because you
should
would have
do
to go to
that.
their page and then you would see the pictures
I
in
know.
order. And then it was
And
like
then
a
they would
controversy.
move. It would move if someone, like, yeah.
You can make it your Facebook profile like the image.
This will update depending on your mood today.
Okay. What did you think of the ending? Did you turn out how you expected?
I get why she ended it the way she did, but I agree with Andrew. I wish she had not gotten prom queen and that she had gone back and had this beautiful audition and she feels good about herself and she's more socially accepted and they broke down some of the cliques and showed that you can move a little more freely because you're going to have bratty people in the real world. You're going to
Mhm.
have cliques in the real
Yeah.
world, but as adults, it is easier to navigate some of those cliques, right? Like, at least I think so.
Yeah, I feel
I
like
could be
she
wrong.
might have said something about, or it maybe implied at some point that high school isn't actually the peak of your existence.
It's really not.
But
Or if
then you
it-
end it that way and it makes
Yeah.
it feel like it's the peak of your
you
like
can
you
have
ended on a
some
climax.
really good, memorable moments in high school. I didn't, but you can. It's possible, but it's not the peak of your
feel
existence.
like
No.
I may have, but I can't be sure.
Yeah.
It's so long ago.
Yeah.
Do you run into people in your life who remember inordinate details about like high school? Remember that time in chemistry class? No, I don't remember that time.
I don't
in
remember
chemistry-
you.
Right. This is a true story. I ran into someone at an event and they were like, oh, Andrew. I'm like, hi.
Mhm.
And like, you look the exact same as you did in high school. It's like, So do you. No idea who this person was. She said her name, still no idea. No
I'm
clue.
at the point in my life where I don't know if I know that person because I knew them in college, in high school, if they're a childhood friend that found me years later.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I don't know how people are associating with me
Mm-mm.
anymore. Like, I have hundreds of friends, and I'm like, I don't talk to you. I should just
Yeah.
when TikTok goes away, just melt off of, just transition into
Old ladyhood.
old ladyhood.
So just Facebook. Then.
Just do jigsaw puzzles. Just Facebook. That was a funny joke. All right.
I found the ending to be somewhat anticlimactic for some reason. Like they show up at the prom, they have fun. She wins, or like maybe before she wins, Rachel does her thing. She just shows up, says something nasty, gets kicked out, and then she wins.
I think because it ended on the high of her dancing on the floor and kissing Amanda. Like, there was no denouement.
Yeah,
Mm.
it just
That was another
ended.
French word.
Yeah,
Did
It
she
was.
pronounce it correctly?
sure.
I don't know. Probably not. I
Sure.
took Spanish, and I was told that my accent was terrible. Average. I'm really good. Like, I was in all the smart
Yeah.
classes, but I was the dumb girl in the smart classes.
no,
like,
you
there's
were
still a
not.
hierarchy.
Hmm.
Anyway.
Anyway,
Anyways,
trauma processing. I feel like we're trauma processing.
are we ready for the next question?
I'm
over
kidding.
High school.
So this one's gonna be difficult because Kendall mentioned it would be difficult, and I know it'll be difficult for me. I don't know about you.
Oh, now I don't know what it is.
Oh, God.
Who would star in the screen adaptation?
I don't know enough
Yeah,
young
that's what we were
actors
saying.
to.
I was like the little boy who played Jack in Blackish. Like, he could be Jordan, I guess.
Yeah, Miles. Miles
I don't
something.
know.
So I went online. I'm like, because I know that some people like to fan cast their favorite book. So I went to look, and somebody
Ooh.
did. And some of these, I don't know who they are.
Okay,
But
let's
some
see
of
if
them,
we
I'm
do.
like, that's not right either. So for Mac, somebody said Amy Beth McNulty, Anne from. She was in Stranger Things too as Vicky in the.
Who's Vicky and
the one that
Stranger
Robin liked? Anyway.
Oh.
This girl.
Oh, thank you for printing
Yeah.
out pictures.
Yeah,
God
And
bless
then-
you.
And then for Liz, I don't know who this person is. Sophia Bryant.
No, let's see
Show
her
me a pic.
picture. Yeah, she's
Yeah,
cute.
that works. Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
work. Oh.
For Robbie, Miles Brown.
Okay. Is that the kid? Wait, show me the picture. Yeah, that's the kid. So
Oh,
Robbie.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that
oh, yeah.
works.
So for
Okay.
Jordan, Reese King. I have no idea who that is.
That's a good
You had it.
name.
Mr. K, Terry Crews. Just a little bit too old, I think.
He's too old.
And also, you don't think of like I can't imagine Terry Crews like conducting a
Yeah.
band with his like massive arms
I
and
can. He's an artist.
I
He's
know,
a gentle
but, like,
soul.
I love Terry Crews,
absolutely
but-
believe it.
Okay.
Terry loves yogurt.
For Rachel, it was
that.
Madeline Pesh. She
Sure.
looks familiar, but I
I
don't
know
know.
any of these people.
For Gabby, Julia Raywald. And
Oh.
then for Madame Simone, Tina Fey.
Okay, that one's funny. I like that one.
I could buy that. I would
Because she
be good
can,
with that.
she can
could
kind
do
of because SNL, she can kind of like
I-
morph.
Yeah.
that. I would. Do
I still
that.
like my Alice Borstein as Celine.
Yeah, that could work. Or I think Tina Fey should do an impression of Alex Borstein. Do it.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And what's the I'm not call, the friend Gabby's mom? I think of Amy Poehler and Mean Girls.
I do too. Because we were discussing adults in the book, Angelique and I were the other day, and I realized that I was like, I would like Gabby's mom, except because she bakes, but she bakes vegan food.
Yeah.
And it's just so normalized. They're like, ooh, vegan brownies. I'm like, really? That's got beans in it, y'all.
Kendall does not like beans. Let's just preface this as so that's a non-starter for her.
Like, just add cocoa powder. It's like a mole sauce solid.
Right.
Like, add cocoa powder to your beans. Come on, guys.
Help us.
Okay, so we can't think of anybody. How about any final thoughts?
Okay, I got my list, but if you guys want final thoughts
No,
first.
go for it.
Okay. All right, I'm just going to read these, so
'Kay.
this might not make sense. On my rating, the reason I said it was because it started normal, but everything she set up to fall into place after the pep. Oh, I thought it was super bland, like fine, whatever, until the pep rally. So like there was one of those cheesy moments that I really loved was when the lights went out after their dance or whatever, and everyone had put on t-shirt, or half of the people had put on t-shirts with the crown on it.
Mm-hmm.
I loved that moment. It made me feel so excited. I felt like the embarrassing moments for Liz did not set off my mirror neurons the way I would assumed. Like anytime Liz was supposed to be embarrassed, I wasn't embarrassed for her. Except there were some sweet, cheesy moments where they were just so borderline cringy to me.
Yeah.
Like when she would be accepted by stuff, sometimes I'd be like, ooh, ooh, that was a little much for me. The dedication, I have tear face. Why do I have crying eyes? Which for the kids now would be the opposite. Oh, it's dedicated for my mom. All I am is because you are.
So you think the author's mom passed away?
No, I don't know any of that to be true, but
Oh.
I do like that it was dedicated. It was a sweet dedication.
It was. But I mean, that would be cool, but it'd be interesting if that was part of her story, Leah Johnson's story, and that was how she was able to incorporate that into
Yeah.
the book. That'd been interesting to know.
Have you known anyone with sickle cell? Do you
I've
know?
never known anyone personally, but it was a very real. That part I like. I mean, I think that's a disease because it's primarily in the African American community. A lot of people don't know enough about it, so I thought it was interesting to put that in there and kind of, especially with Robbie, like explaining what they were having to do when he got sick. And it's important for people to realize sometimes some of these diseases are really horrifying, and terrible to deal with. And so that was an interesting aspect, I thought.
So one of the boys in my theater class, 10th and 11th grade, he had sickle cell. And he just, to me, was like, I can't tell whether I've put this boy's personality over Robbie or he and Robbie are just really the same. Because he was just like, he was a light, like so refreshing, so lovely. But he missed so much school. Like he had to be taken away one day on a stretcher because he had an attack at school. Like it was just,
that's horrible.
but he was just so like, he had like the best smile. Anyway. Okay. I had some predictions that did not come true that I appreciated. Like
Okay.
I assumed that she and Jordan would use their friendship in a very manipulative way. Like Jordan would be like, "I'll help bring you up in the ranks," but that never really happened. Like it stayed organic, and he stayed true through the end. I liked the quote about, I don't believe putting a question mark where God put a period. I said I disagree, but I really liked the cleverness of that.
It was a
sentence.
cute quote, yeah.
You can never be too careful when eating white folks' food.
That was funny.
As a white person who makes food, I agree.
Was it her granny would pack food for her just in case she got hungry overnight or something?
The pound cake.
I love that.
I thought that was so cute. There was a moment in there where they broke the fourth wall and she said "you," and I did not like it.
Yeah.
Gabby called Jordan the great value Odell Beckham Jr. and it made me chuckle.
I kind of liked Gabby. Like, I know that she was like the monstager or whatever. I liked that term, but I totally got Gabby, and she was funny to me. I liked her.
I liked the conflict between Gabby and Liz because that felt like a real friendship. Because a real friend is never going to try and intentionally mess you up, but I can very much so see Gabby like trying to control things and being like, Liz, you're going to lose if you do X, Y, or Z, and we've got to get you to win because we got to get you that scholarship. And then Liz being like, that is incredibly hurtful, and Gabby not understanding. Like, that's a real
And they
situation to me.
they didn't overplay it, but they did enough to explain why Gabby was the way that she was, so it did make sense. And their reconciliation was genuine, I felt like, too.
And Gabby still showed up even though they were having fights.
Right.
So I do appreciate that. The principal. Oh, the moment where the principal was like, "Do you kiss your mother with that mouth?" And then she was like, "My mother's dead." And I was like, "That's right, she is, you jerk face. You don't say that to a child." God, the principal's the worst.
He was the worst. And then suddenly had morals. I'm sorry. Like, that's like, you can't just be and then all of a sudden, you know what? I've decided I'm going to grow a backbone.
He is, he was, Madame Simone put him in his place. And so he was gross. Didn't like him. So I kind of, Anyway, oh, there was a sweet quote. I'm laughing this is at the pep rally. I'm laughing, genuinely having a good time singing the words back and forth with Jordan when I realize I'm not scared anymore. I might even be living a little. Oh, gosh, if I could tell that to kids, like that would be my advice. Like, it is scary and you are going to fall and it's going to mess up, but you need to put yourself out there, live it. Like, this too shall pass. Like, but if you do not practice putting yourself out there, it's going to be really hard as an adult because it's only going to get harder. And then I thought that the moment was really lovely. She was on a high, and then like real life like knocked on the
Yeah.
door when Robbie Granny was like, you need to come to the hospital now.
I liked once that scene got settled in and you got to know a little bit more about Granny and you got to see the relationship with her and Robbie and all that. I liked even though it was a
Mhm.
horrifying time, there was a comfort in that
Yeah.
nuclear family. It just jarred for me, and that was just. But I'm glad it worked for you. That means it was just me, not the book. So
Well, it could have also just been me. We'll find out. Readers, tell us. Did you like it? Did you
Yeah.
not like it? I want to know. When Granny tells Liz that she'll be there when Liz needs to rest.
yeah,
Oh. Okay, also the freshman fainting into her spazania made me laugh because it was funny that they talked, like there was a nice little callback or whatever.
yeah.
Her promposal with Tila.
Oh
Isn't
yeah,
that her
yeah,
name?
Yeah.
The band, that was such a big part of that. I loved her grandmother altering her mom's prom dress.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
God, that hit me hard.
That was good.
And then it immediately hit me hard because I said, oof, I'm old. Liz references Winona Ryder from Stranger Things. I did not like that. I mean, it was like appropriate, but I didn't like it. What's with the Deus Ex Machina, Mr. K with another audition? But I liked that she didn't have to win prom queen at that. Finger Foods by Guy Fieri. Where is this high school? Rachel sucks, but I don't like that she was the villain till the end.
Yeah.
I agree. I didn't need a redemption for her, but I also like it when characters are complex. So, like we already talked about, I liked that she was the bad character, but I didn't like demonizing her so much.
You don't have to have like Hairspray where the Von Tussles all of a sudden start singing and dancing at the end. Like you don't have to have that big of a moment, but you're right. It was something.
I think it rings truer to life when they are complex people doing bad things.
Mm-hmm.
And if you make everyone the worst villain, like the principal and Rachel, then it clears the way for people to believe that you're either going to only have bad guys or
Right.
good guys and that there's no in between. And that's not real in life.
Yeah.
Stone was an unnecessary friend. Britt was solid. Gabby was annoying but made sense. At one point, the author used crowning as a verb and as a mother who's given birth. I could never not know crowning to be
Something
whatever.
different.
I know a cringy moment that I hated. Jordan putting his crown on Amanda. Ugh. Like after he won, he like gave in so
yeah.
they can go dance. I was like, ugh, that's so awful. I love that Jordan was the best platonic friend, and he
He was
was
cool.
never a love interest.
Yeah.
And the
Seven-
Emmy thing was kind of sweet. That
Yeah.
like she disappeared, but it was because she was struggling with something, and he was always he was still there for her. Like I like Jordan. He ended up being like the one of the best guys.
I
Like he was
agree.
awesome.
But he also never told Emmy's secrets. We still don't know Emmy's secret, which as a nosy person really bothers me, but I respect them for it.
Well, I mean, we kind of got a hint from Rachel.
Yeah, she made some smart comment about rehab.
Rehab?
Yeah. You know what's funny? We've not talked about Mac at all.
No.
I did
Really?
not
She was just
like her
kinda-
character at all.
You didn't like her at all?
No.
Hmm.
It was too over the top. Like it was
Yeah.
just it was
There's like their romance, which was cute, but
Yeah.
sometimes it was a bit too saccharine,
yeah.
a bit too
And too
sweet.
fast
Like
and
the
too-
way
yeah.
their dialogue was kind of like what teenager talks like that. But I guess some maybe teenagers do talk like that. I don't know. But it was just a little bit too much.
I liked Mac for Liz.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
also did not care about Mac. I was telling Angelique, I was like, yeah, I like Jordan a lot more.
Well, it's funny.
But I get that that's not what's supposed to be here.
That's another one where I almost wish at the end they would have just been friends because they had gotten to that point where they were like, there was one point in the book where she was like, you know what, we're talking, and even if we're just friends, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
I don't know. That almost seemed more real than them falling back in love.
Well, see, that to
Yeah.
me is a very teenage thing.
It
Like,
is.
They
it
date for
is.
3 weeks. They don't date for 3 weeks. They date for 3 weeks. They don't date for 3 weeks. They're going to break up again.
Yeah.
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 That is not a lifelong relationship.
Especially
These people have married their high school sweethearts. I'm like, why?
Especially Liz's jealousy.
I
That
know.
was, I don't know, that bugged me. Like, why are you suddenly so aggressively jealous?
Oh, no, I get that. I get that 100%. 100%. Especially since they didn't know that much about each other. They
Yeah.
hadn't had instances to feel and then Liz also knew that she was pushing Mac away, and like,
Yeah.
I 100% that. I get that. Okay. Anyway, I don't know if you guys probably did not read the acknowledgments, but
No.
Leah Johnson, she wrote, and finally, thank you to Black girls everywhere in our flawed, free, fantastic glory. I see you. I'm honored to share this sisterhood with you, and I'm so grateful for the chance to write our stories.
Oh.
There is no world in which we are both not miracle and magic, in which we're not worthy of every happy ending. Thank you for teaching me how to wear my crown.
Oh.
So every
Yes,
teenage, they need to read the acknowledgments. If you're a parent, have your kid read the
At least
acknowledgments.
the last paragraph.
Yeah, that's cool.
I felt like this book was written from a place of joy and excitement, and so it helped me forgive some of the extra ridiculous over the top things, because now she got to write and put that and infuse it and give someone else the experience of seeing that for themselves, and I
Yeah.
love that.
And I can redeem it because of those positive messages. Be yourself, stay true to your friends, give people a chance you never thought you could,
Mhm.
live your life, try new things, take care of your family. There's so many little
Mhm.
messages in there that I just think that are really positive and really important for young people. And so that's why I was able to forgive a lot, because I was like, for someone who the audience that this is intended for, I think there are a lot of really good things that people can get out of this
Mhm.
that are important life lessons. So, that right there, I wish I'd read the acknowledgments, because that made it a lot. That upped it for me. That was a really cool statement on her part. So good for
She's
you, Leah.
lovely.
That was awesome.
I would read another one of her books. Does she have other books?
Yeah.
Do we know? Yeah, I
Oh,
would
cool.
read it.
Okay.
I do not recommend you to read it. But
I would
read it.
recommend that other people read it who find that find joy in this, because you deserve to have those positive stories. How about that?
Yep. Oh, I'll let my niece read it. She's super into YA romance.
Perfect. That'd be good. Yes.
Cool. Are we done?
Yeah, let's do it.
No more
Sorry.
final thoughts? All right. Today I'm promoting Wowbrary. Wowbrary is a weekly newsletter and RSS feed that alerts patrons to new additions to the library collection. When you sign up for Wowbrary, you receive one email per week on Saturdays with an extensive list of what's new in the library, which includes books, music, and more. All right, that's it for this episode of We're Booked Up. You Should See Me in a Crown is available in the library on the Libby and Hoopla apps. Let us know what you think of the book and what you think of what we think of the book. Just leave a comment at the Off the Shelf blog at gastonlibrary.blogspot.com or at gastonspeaks.podbean.com. Next month's book will be The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.